This is the Young and Growing Podcast.
There were some pretty lofty goals that I put on there, and I'm just like, holy cow, right? And the people you talk to, the people you hang out with, the people you associate yourself with, are they helping you get closer to that goal or further?
With Isaiah Gunther.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to Young and Growing. I am your host, Isaiah Gunther, and man, I'm super excited for this conversation. It is currently 7:59 a.m. I think our guest has been up for about 6 hours already, so it'll already kind of give you a heads up, man. This is my mentor. When I decided to go back to Anytime Fitness, this is a huge reason why. Surrounding yourself with great people. So our guest today is Adam Ortman. Adam, what's going on, man?
Nothing much.
Oh, dude. So Adam's a character, man. He's a great leader. I'm super excited for you guys to pick up some stuff from him. So Adam, dude, first, just like everybody, people want to know who you are. And I know a lot of people know who you are, but people, I don't know if they know the full story. And once you connect the full story with everything that you do and apply to life, it starts to really make sense. So I want people to really grasp that. So just start to introduce yourself, start talking about.
Oh, I'm just a dude.
I'm just a dude.
No, let's see. So, yeah, it's a good question. So grew up in Cleveland, Northeast Ohio. Went to school up in the Euclid, Cleveland area. And I guess where it all got started, where a lot of people don't know, like where this, which we'll get to, is that hard work and everything like that. In elementary school and middle school, it kind of started to form where I was a minority in the school that I went to, which is all good, right? It's all there. But there's a lot of violence and gangs going on. So like my recess was in a tennis court. Fenced up with a security guard at the door. So you couldn't go in and out.
Gosh.
And, being that young, I didn't really know what that meant. I just knew it wasn't, good, but whatever.
Right.
So in order for me to, I guess, avoid getting beating up all the time, because every day at lunch there was a fight in the bathrooms or something, I had to leverage my skill. So this is, I guess, where maybe my brain started to work.
Yeah.
I said, what am I really good at? I said, okay, I can do kids' homework in 5th grade, planets and stuff. So basically, I did other kids' homework in order to avoid getting beat up. So that's kind of how,
wow,
middle school went for it, and it's all good. You had to do.
How did you keep such a positive attitude about it? Like, how did you try to look at it and put it in a positive aspect? Like, okay, this is was it more like, do I have to do this, or was it just like, okay, let me just use my skills to?
Oh, I mean, I think what is it, 5th, 6th grade? I don't think I really knew what, that whole, my brain wasn't that conceptually, like,
yeah.
I was drawing planets and, learning, advanced 2 + 2 or whatever it is at that time. Right. But I think what I did know was, I wanted to avoid getting beat up. Like, so that's all I knew. I said, okay, I don't want that. I didn't really know, I knew it was bad, but, at that point, growing up around it, there was no other, in order to have, good, there has to be evil, basically. To me, there wasn't really any other norm. So, like, I kind of just thought that this is just the school,
it's
like, just the way it is. So I had no idea what to relate it to.
That makes sense.
And so I was just like, okay, cool, this is how it is. I don't want that. So I'll do homework.
Okay. All right.
And so, you pick your battles, and so that kind of started there. And then it kind of flipped when in high school, I moved about 30 miles away to Solon, which is the complete opposite. So I went from being a minority in a school up near Cleveland to now being, higher demographic, higher wealth school district where, it's like one of the top school districts in Ohio, right? Amazing school district, but it wasn't the same, day to day. So now I could put into relation where I came from to that. And so, the first year I was trying to figure out like my identity, like what do I do? And so, I tried out for football, or actually I went out for golf my freshman year. I sucked. Then I was like, I'll stick with football.
Yeah.
And so I wasn't really popular, but I wasn't not popular, I guess, in the simple. I was more I'm going to do my work. I'll talk to, people. I have a core group of friends, and I'll do I'll do me, right? And
Yeah,
that's
for
kind of what it did. And I always had to, like when I turned 16, I like things. I like to, have things and buy things. So when I was 16, I started driving, and so I had a job at a pet store, working every day after school. And then, because everything that I wanted, I had to pay for. So like if I wanted a car, I had to buy a car. If I wanted a car, I needed car insurance. If I wanted a phone, I had to buy a phone. Like, so it was all, it was all of that. It was everything I had to earn.
Set back on you.
Yeah. And so after then, come junior and senior year, I was like, well, I'm playing sports in school. And I was studying a lot. Like it was basically schoolwork. I did pretty well with it. I worked in the summer, 10 to 5 at the pet store during the day, went home and slept, and then worked 10 to 5 at night at Walmart all summer.
All summer long.
Yeah, so I worked essentially, whatever that first shift and third shift.
Oh my gosh.
And it was at pet store and then Walmart overnight, and Walmart's the only
and
job.
hold on, how old are you at this time? You're a freshman, sophomore in high school?
No, senior. So
oh, you was a senior.
Yeah, junior, senior. So what is that, 18?
Yeah, 17,
18, yeah, something like that.
Dang. So most 17, 18-year-olds, right? If they're playing a sport, it's like, I have an excuse to not go out there and play hours and hours and hours in, right? Or I can't work from this time to this time in the summertime because that's just not normal. You're out there, oh my gosh, putting in 2 jobs every day, crushing it.
So that's where like the whole like being up early and working, it kind of came from, because if I wanted to play football, I had to pay for all the, equipment and supplies. I mean, there was some help. My parents were amazing. They did a really good job, but they had, stuff that they needed to take care of.
Absolutely.
And so I said, I wanted to, I knew that if I put the work in, I would, get it and earn it and do it. So, I played, travel baseball, which is expensive. Football, is expensive. I wanted a car, right? So I had everything that I wanted. I was like, okay, well, if I work these many hours, I need to fill this time with more hours. And so that's what I did. So that's where like the whole hard work started. And then graduated, went to Miami University. I never actually visited the school before I went there. My best friend at the time in high school was going there. He's like, hey, do you want to room together? I said, sure, cool, sounds good. Which I probably should have done some research.
For sure.
Don't regret it. I loved it. Love it. Was an RA there for 2 years, so I was a resident assistant.
Awesome.
Stayed on campus, and then I graduated in 3 years with a 4-year degree. Stayed on campus the 4th year, was a personal trainer at the rec center. Kind of debating, what the heck do I do? Got a call from Mr. Mike Gelfgotz on a Sunday morning. I'm being in college at the time. I was like, who's calling me on a Sunday? Like, what is this?
Right.
And then it was, for a job interview at now Anytime Fitness, and kind of been with that ever since.
Holy cow. So so I talked about, you getting up early and, how you've already been up. In college, you said you graduated with a 3-year degree, or a 4-year degree in 3 years. How, what was that process like? I mean, because that's extra work. Not only that, but you had a job. You were working. So that takes a special type of mindset. What was that work ethic like? And how did that affect your everyday, day-to-day? Because I think some people look back and they're like, or they look at it and they're like, well, I want to go do these things, but I either have to work or I have to spend time with my friends or, whatever. Yeah. So what was that like? How did you make that decision and being like, okay, I got to do this. I got to put all this in.
Well, I guess like for me, so one, same thing, I had to pay for it, pretty much for the whole thing.
Right.
So my parents helped me out the first year a little bit, but I figured, man, Miami University, it's, didn't do my research, super expensive.
Yeah.
And, I got some scholarships to other schools, because I did fairly well in high school, not Miami. I also was fairly lazy at the time as far as the application goes. So I said, if I get out of here in 3 years, I only have to pay, roughly $75,000 versus $100,000. I'm like, that's cool. I would rather, save on that. So basically every semester, so spring, fall, and summer, or they did trimesters at the time, right? So they did trimesters when I was there. So spring, summer, and fall, year round, I just did 18 to 20 hours. So when I was at camp or on campus, I did about 18 to 20 hours. And then during the summer, when I went home to Cleveland, I just went to a community college and took my electives. So, jazz and world arts and stuff like that during the summer. for
Dang,
it.
that's
So,
awesome. That is crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah.
So now Mike Gelfgott, we'll definitely probably get him on a podcast soon.
Oh, you have to.
Uh,
Shout out, Mike. I got you.
yeah, for sure, for sure. So he calls you on a Sunday. He says, "Hey, we're working at Anytime Fitness. We're looking for a personal trainer."
PT manager.
PT
was
manager.
what I applied for on Craigslist.
Oh, on Craigslist.
I had no idea what Anytime Fitness was either, because being on a campus, I've heard of Snap and LA Fitness.
Yeah. So you've been with Anytime Fitness now for what, 8 years?
8 years sounds right.
So 8 years you've been with Anytime Fitness. Man, I mean, how the list of accomplishments and growth has been unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
So your role went from being a PT manager.
Yep.
To a district manager.
District. Yep.
And then when I came along to Anytime Fitness, you were essentially a regional manager.
Yep.
Regional manager over what, 9 clubs?
Yeah,
in
there
Ohio?
was we had 9 in Ohio. Yep.
And so, man, that was when I interviewed in Springfield, and I met you first. I talked to Drew on the phone. The phone
I remember
interview,
that actually.
But I remember sitting down.
We talked about books. Go for No.
Go
I
for
actually
No.
remember that.
Yeah, we talked about a lot of books, and you were my first interview, and it kind of messed me up that you were never gonna be there. Like, I really loved that interview, and I was like, man, I can't wait to work for these guys. And then Adam was like,
because Drew was going to be there.
Drew was going to be the district manager, and I didn't realize, what the levels were and things like that. But that's when I started to be like, holy cow. It was my first real, I guess I would say, sales job.
Yep.
But more like, that's what started to develop me, was that sales process and learning and sitting down in Dorothy Lane Market with you, just
I remember that.
face to face, going for hours, just about learning how to talk to people and things like that. So that's when I started looking at you like, holy cow, like, this guy is the prime example of hard work and somebody you want to surround yourself with. So
Appreciate that.
So absolutely. So let's kind of dive in, right? Because you've been you've been leading people for a long time. And so now you've got a really big grasp of how to grow, not only clubs, other people. Take us down that path. How did you start to learn, okay, I'm surrounding myself with the right people. Okay, I'm growing the right way. And some mistakes along the way that, some of these people are probably going, okay, I'm making these same exact mistakes. How can I overcome those? So just kind of take us down that path.
Yeah, I think, in high school and college, I didn't read books. I didn't, my theory was if the teacher was a good teacher, I could go to class. I didn't skip class. But if I took the notes and the teacher did a good job, I would score well. That was my theory, right? And,
Not a bad theory.
It worked, right? I paid attention. I took some notes. Probably could have done better, but I wasn't really big on personal development in high school and college. I played a lot of video games. I wasn't in shape. A lot of people know my story. I was, out of shape. I was 250 pounds when I started Anytime Fitness. I mean, I played a little sports in high school and football, but I wasn't a healthy 250, put it that way.
Yeah.
I grew up eating terrible things and not working out and, all that.
Uh-huh.
So, really, I guess maybe at the end of college and, the first probably 2 to 3 years after getting hired at Anytime Fitness, I was like, really that growth, like what's next? I always had that mentality, like what's next? And so it always came down to you always gotta, be putting good things into your brain. Like one of the books I think is As a Man Thinketh. I read it's about an hour read or hour listen, but it's like your brain is like a garden, right? The things you put into it, your thoughts, the information, the people you surround yourself with, it's either going to form a really beautiful garden and wonderful flowers or a bunch of weeds. And so,
Wow.
like, I don't know, that to me is everything about it, right? So, the things I'm reading, the things I'm watching, like, I don't have, cable TV. We have Netflix. I'll watch a movie now and then. There's nothing wrong with that, but I don't, like, the things that I want to put into my brain and my mind, I want to make sure it's going to be things that will help, right? And it's not always perfect. There's times that are up and down, but, like, the idea is, like, what am I feeding myself? Because if I'm taking care of myself, physically, mentally, emotionally, I can give more to others. And I think that's a really big thing that I try to preach or teach or coach, whatever you want to call it, to others is, you have your battery that you need to recharge. like your personal one. And if, especially in the fitness industry, I know you and I, like, we give it all when we talk to people, right? That emotional side, because we truly care.
Absolutely.
And, it can become draining at times, not in a bad way, but, because you're pouring it all out there. And so if you never take time to recharge your battery, it's hard to fully give it to somebody else. So
that's absolutely right. And a lot of us don't even think about that because we're so focused on, okay, I got to take care of other people. I got to take care of everybody else. Sometimes we just forget to take care of ourselves. That's great. So what was the switch? I had a book, right? So Rich Dad Poor Dad was my book, right? That was my switch to, okay, not only can I be a bigger and better me, but I have so much more to go. Like I've got so much more time and effort and things like that to put into. So what was kind of that switch to you during that Anytime Fitness phase early in the get-go? Like, okay, I can be good at this. Not only can I be good, but I can be great. And then kind of walk us down the path of, like, maybe there was an obstacle or an objective that you had to hit that you were like, because of this process, because of this objective, I was able to become this person.
Let's see. I don't know if there was one book. I mean, if there's a book that really stood out, obviously Tony Robbins' Creating Lasting Change.
Oh, yeah.
Now, I don't know. I mean, that was definitely a turning point because it helped me learn a lot. But I think I've always been very competitive. Like, I don't like to lose. I don't like when people are better than me. I know people are, and I'm very humble with it, but I don't like it.
Yep.
And so when people did beat me in something, or when people were doing better than me, right, I think I took it and said, okay, what are they doing? And I need to figure that out, and I need to do it better than them, right? So in all my situations, whether it was sports, a job, a career, when someone's doing better than me, I wanted to say, okay, like, Isaiah, what's going on? Like, what are some things that you do? And I learned it, and then I want to do it better. Ooh. And so that was it's always going to be my philosophy is, there's always going to be people better than me, and I love it. I bring it on. But I want to learn what are they doing, and then I want to do it better. And so I think, just being in that PT manager role, and then, there wasn't a district manager role at the time for Ohio. And so, I went to Mike, I said, hey, I want this district manager role. What do I got to do? And, he's like, do X, Y, and Z. And so, I made sure that I did X, Y, and Z, and then A, right? Whatever it was. I did, I wanted to do, like, no doubt. And so that's kind of always been my philosophy with it.
Jeez, that's awesome. And, that's huge for everybody, right? Like, no matter where you are in this aspect, like, all I got to do is go out and just say, okay, be a sponge.
Mm-hmm.
What do I have to do? And then let's just make sure I do it. Drew, one of our really good friends, which will probably be on the podcast.
Shout out, Drew. I got you, Drew.
Shout out, Drew. Drew always said, I loved working for them, and it was only because I figured out that if they just tell you to do something and you do it, that is the best thing for an employee, or for, whenever you're working for somebody, is if they can just say something and expect you to do it, that is that's the golden ticket to growth and to continued,
And Drew actually got turned down. I turned him down the first interview.
Did you really?
I'll tell you that on.
Oh man, I'm excited to hear that.
Yeah, I said no.
He may have told me that before, but that's hilarious.
But he learned.
That's hilarious. So let's go through life, right? Because you're now sitting at what, 180 pounds, something like that.
Yeah, 185.
185. Yeah, 185. Right. And you were at one point, you were at 250.
250. Yep.
So let's dive into that a little bit, because you're a personal trainer.
Yep.
When you first started, you weren't eating healthy, or you weren't the healthiest.
Right.
So losing 70 pounds, man, is
hard.
People look at it as an unbelievably impossible obstacle that can never come. And the hardest part isn't necessarily the fact that you lose the 70 pounds as much as it is living the lifestyle to keep the 70 pounds off. Yeah. So obviously there have been obstacles that you had to go through. Let's kind of talk about some of those, losing that weight, getting into the right mindset, all these different things that are making you great today. What are some of those things?
So growing up, it was always, one little knowledge initially, right? I didn't know refined sugars and all that, right? So Pop-Tarts, cereals, eating out, pizza, that was basically up to, middle of high school. I didn't know better, right? So without any awareness, I didn't know it wasn't necessarily that good. So that was there. And then once I started learning about it, okay, now how do you apply this? And I think it was hard in college still because, I was living on campus. I had a student pass and, I could swipe in and have a buffet every day. And I played football, right? So it was, be a lineman, eat a bunch of food. And, and I tried to eat good food still, but a lot of good food is still a lot of food.
Right.
So, and then being around the peer pressure. And in college, I didn't do any of the crazy stuff that you associate, most college things with. I didn't really party a lot. I didn't, I went out every now and then, enjoyed my time, but it was basically schoolwork and, just studies and get out of there in 3 years for it. So I guess the hardest part is, I think maybe peer pressure would be one, like when you're in a social setting. Mm-hmm. It's understanding like, hey, you can still have a social setting. You can still go out with friends. You can still have people over, just prepare and talk to your friends. They're your friends for a reason. So if you don't want to eat something or whatever it may be, I would think that, my friends support me. Cool. They might give me a little hard time, joke back and forth, but at the end of the day, we're there not because of necessarily the food or the drinks. It's because of the time together.
The company, yeah.
Yeah. So, it's just understanding that setting and making your boundaries clear of what you are and aren't going to eat or drink, right? And so that's a big thing for it. So like I still have, a ton of time together with friends. And, so that's just a time where I try to avoid those obstacles and overcome that.
Yeah, for sure.
And then just at home, I love sugar. I love sweets. And one, not having them at the house. Two, having the mindset that, if I have one and I want one, it's okay to do that. But just stay on that grind of, eating healthy most of the time, right? And working out on a regular basis and always remembering the why. Like you feel so much better now. And it's never perfect, right? There's ups and downs of my assessments, but looking back at pictures or thinking about how I felt, when I was at a higher weight, it's just not worth it. Like when I see that box of Oreos or I'm like, dude, that ice cream would be great. I'm just like, I know how I'm going to feel. I'm like, it's not worth it. Like, 10 minutes of amazing satisfaction or, 3 days of feeling guilty and upset at yourself. I'm like, it's not worth it.
Ooh, that's huge. That is huge. Yeah. And that's a quick mindset. We do those things every day, right? Like we look at certain, think about walking into the mall, passing like a buckle or something, being like, dang, there's those $100 pair of jeans or whatever it is. It could be anything. And we make those decisions all the time. We're like, okay, I could buy this pair of jeans and wear it and have that really nice night out. Or I could keep, $115 in my pocket because I got bills and stuff to pay. Yeah. And we make those decisions all the time.
Do it with your workouts too. It's like there's days I don't want to work out. Like I don't enjoy exercising. I don't enjoy eating healthy, right? It's just part of the mindset now, right? And even with a workout, I'm like, man, if I don't work out today, what am I going to be telling myself tomorrow, right? Versus if I do and I just suck it up for 30, 45 minutes, okay, like just go do it.
And the trend, man, in a lot of successful people, think of one successful person, really highly successful, that you look up to, right? That doesn't take care of their mind and body. Find one. I can't. Every single person that I know that's successful and doing really well in life, doesn't have to be about money, just successful and really well in life. They take care of their mind with self-development. They take care of their body with exercise. Like, it's just like a common trend, So I just think it's got to be a part of your life if you want to be, wherever. And it's not because you got to be a triathlete, right? Like you don't have to be an NFL athlete or whatever. Right. You just have to have that, I got to continue to work on myself.
Yeah, especially business people, right? Successful if in that trend, like even in most jobs, right? You schedule everything, right? You schedule work, you schedule meetings, you schedule conference calls, you schedule your kids' baseball games, you schedule dinners, but you never schedule you time. Which is if you don't have you time, none of the other things actually happen. And so like, just schedule it just like anything else. And you never miss, your other meetings. You don't miss conference calls. You don't miss that stuff, but yet you miss you time. And so
it's crazy. And that's my favorite topic, not only because that's what you got me working on right now. It's on my vision board. I've brought it up in pretty much all of my podcasts. But the only reason why I brought it up is because it's been on my mind because it's something I'm working on. And I want you to really dive in on this. I don't know if anybody else can dive in on this as well as you.
Pressure.
Time management.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
All day. See, like that response of just, oh yeah, I got this.
So
let's dive into it for a minute.
Yeah.
I want you to truly, honestly express how important time management is for people. And then I want you to kind of play it out, how you do it necessarily, just to see if anybody will pick up some nuggets. But then, just let people know, this is the ticket. This is one of the 3 golden tickets that you need in life. So lay it out there for them.
Yeah, I mean, time management, it's not easy, right? But I guess my simple words of wisdom would be intentional with your time, right? Just be intentional, meaning when you have let's say it's work, right? Mm-hmm. If you go in from 9 and you work till 5, what are you doing with every minute of every day? And if it's not planned out, put something in it, because if you don't plan that time, we're all in this world of society right now where it's so easy to get distracted.
Let's talk about that. Plan your time, because not everybody has Club Ready, which is what I missed when I left. I was like, man, I used to. And to this day, I get to wake up and film my Club Ready in of everything that I'm about to do.
This is what I'm doing at this time.
So for people who don't have that, what should they be doing? I mean, what could they use or do to make sure that their day is I know what's happening?
Yeah, so there should be some type of, you should wake up, right? And I think it's Brian Tracy, there's a lot of authors and smart people out there that basically say if you spend, let's say, 10 minutes planning your day, you're going to save, over 2 hours of just downtime, right? The ratio, right? So you should always go into your day not surprised. It should be planned, whether it's the day before, wake up early in the morning, whether it's, everyone has a smartphone or some type of phone, right? Google Calendar, right? Mm-hmm. They have a calendar app. You should plan your day. I used to have at some point, or at one point, a daily goal lesson thing. And so it allows you to plan out your month, your week, and your day. So every day you would wake up about 30 minutes early, go to that page. What is today? What is going on today? So whether it's a paper calendar, whether it's an app, right? Google Calendar, be intentional with your day. What are you doing at this time? Put it in there. And it doesn't have to be work related. It could be, I know for me, I put my workout time in there. I actually put Adam's workout time, because if I actually label, from 12 to 1, Adam's workout time, guess what I'm going to do from 12 to 1? I'm going to work out. But if I just leave it open and say, I might work out at this time, I'm not going to work out, because I'm going to play on Facebook. I'm going to, find something else to do. I'm going to get distracted by a phone call that maybe I don't need to make right now. You know what I mean? So when really I need to work out at this time, because that's when I allotted it, or whatever it may be. So be intentional with your time. So if it's work, what are you doing 9 to 5 when you're on, every single hour, right? If it's after work, right, from, 6 to 9, when are you cooking? When are you food prepping? Don't just have TV time, have family time. Okay, and it doesn't have to be scripted out like that all the time. It could just be family time. What are you doing with your family? You know what I mean? And call it family time, so you're not on your phone. If you're with your family, be with your family.
That's huge. That's gold. I hope everybody just wrote that down and just really soaked that in. It's gold. And I try to, I think about it every day. Every single day of my life, I think about time management. And I still get caught up in it. I still find myself, I'll be looking at Facebook or something or whatever. And I'm like, dude, what am I doing? Mm-hmm. Hold on, I got to get up and go do something. And man, that's so big. That is so big. All right, cool. Man, this has been sweet. 28 minutes of crushing it.
Boom.
Of crushing it. So, Adam, let's close this off with a solid conversation.
Okay.
Let's talk about, for people that are, the podcast is called Young and Growing.
Okay.
And I picked that only because, anybody could be considered young and everybody should be growing. So for people that are my age, that are younger, that could easily be influenced by the wrong things, that have not yet became wise enough to be okay, I know all this. You know what I mean? Let's talk to that younger group. What's one thing that they could take that you would that you would advise for them to take away and be this is one thing that you've got to do to just get to that next level. We've had some people say, set the goals and things like that, but what's one thing, and I want it to be daily too, what's one thing daily that people can do to just get a little bit better every day?
Oh, my answer. All right, so here's my answer.
Okay.
Might not be, simple, but
anything.
At the end of the day, younger, older, whatever age, you have to know exactly where you want to go. It has to be clear.
Okay.
If you're not clear on where you want to go, whether it's a job position, whether it's what you want to own, what you want to buy, whatever it is, like you have to have like, I want this or I want to be this by this time, right? There needs to be a clear goal. That's number one.
Yep.
If there's not a clear goal, like, what are you aiming at, right? They're going to get lost no matter what it is. Number two, once you have that clear goal, who are you surrounding yourself with, right? And the people you talk to, the people you hang out with, the people you associate yourself with, are they helping you get closer to that goal or further, right? And if the answer is further, okay, don't be surprised when you don't reach your goal, right? And then number three, the stuff that you're doing every single day, what you're reading, what you're learning, how you're taking care of your physical, body. If that's not getting you closer to it, okay, it's not going to matter, right? So you got to think, okay, what are you doing? Who you're surrounding yourself with, and do you have a goal? If you don't have one of those three, at least in my opinion, I feel like it's a chain. Like if you don't know where you're aiming, right, and you have these people that are helping you, and that's good, but you don't know where that end result is. So like you gotta know where you're going very clearly. Who are you hanging out with? Who you're associating yourself with? And then what are you doing every single day with your brain and your body? Is it helping you get there?
Oh my gosh, I love it. See, guys, this is why I want to surround myself and work for somebody like this. Could you constantly think about every single day being put in a position where every day you're surrounding yourself with somebody like this? I mean, it's unbelievable. And I always got to sit back and really remember this is why I'm here. Like I'm here not only to help people grow, but to really grow myself.
Yep.
And I think that is giant. That is giant. Adam, man, thank you so much for being on the podcast. Sure. We could go for hours and hours and hours and just talk about everything. You know what I mean?
Gotta keep some stuff a secret.
Oh my gosh, some stuff. We gotta email us, right? Yeah. Email us, let us know. Yeah. Man, thank you so much. This is Young and Growing. I can't even fathom what's about to happen next for you guys. I mean, I'm getting a lot of great feedback. I want all of you guys to give me some feedback and just figure out where can we take this thing. This started as a big library for me, so I could cool. So I could just really soak some stuff up, right? Go back and listen. But I didn't realize how many people it was really going to affect.
It's cool.
And so it's going great, and I'm super excited for people to hear this and be like, oh snap, I got to do this. Let me finish off. I apologize. Let me ask one thing.
Oh boy.
I never realized how important a vision board was.
Yep.
And it just popped in my head, so I apologize, but dive into a vision board really fast.
Vision board.
Because this is exactly, this is like the missing key of everything you just said. Those three, that rope.
Yeah.
That was my missing key. I'm surrounding myself with the right people, right? I'm trying to do stuff every day to get myself better. And I know where I'm going, but I didn't know how important a vision board was. And I made it. And now
crazy.
It's months in. We're almost 3 months into the year. And it's like I just wrote them down because I see it every day. Finish off with that.
Yeah, so vision board is, right, your brain is very powerful. And I did this, I don't know, 10 years ago initially. And I got this from someone I followed on LinkedIn or, read a book on whatever. And I was like, whatever, I'll give it a go. Basically, it's a culmination. It could be a cork board, a whiteboard, something with pictures, images, and symbols that are important to you. So like mine are all colored pictures or words, that I've printed out from magazines, the internet, whatever, that means something to me. And the first one I did, one of them I just remember, and this is where it really struck me that this thing's powerful. Because I was like skeptical. I was like, whatever, everyone else doing it, I'll try it.
Man, that's exactly how I felt. I was like,
all right, whatever.
Yeah.
So I put a bunch of stuff on there, and one of them was master trainer. Like it said master trainer. And this was at a time when I wasn't a master trainer yet. And, and every day my ritual is I wake up and I look at this thing and I look at every single symbol before I leave, right? Every single symbol, there's about, 15 to 20 of them and what it means to me. Like, why did I put this on there? So every day I would look at master trainer, master trainer, master trainer, right? And before I knew it, I was actually went through and became a master trainer through NASM. And it didn't even strike me that it was on my vision board. And then I went to update my vision board, after about a year or 2 years, and I'm like, holy smokes, like I've achieved like
I did it.
6 of these things on this thing. And like they're not simple things. Like there were some pretty lofty goals that I put on there, and I'm just like, holy cow, like subconsciously, right, when you tell yourself master trainer, or, I want to buy this, or I want to earn this, or I want to get to this position, like your body will take action towards it. So by every single day subconsciously saying master trainer, master trainer, master trainer, your body will take action and act in a certain way to get there, right? And there's a lot of studies behind it, and like there's one study, and it's pretty cool. This guy did one where he put his picture perfect house that he wanted, right? Very very specific and very graphic, like it was very detailed, and he looked at it every single day, and then he actually found it. Like he never knew where it was, but he found it, bought it, and that was his house. 10, 15 years later. So I have one, and look at it every day. There's 20 things on it that, feelings, emotions, positions, career stuff, fun stuff that I want to do, family stuff, right? And all those goals. And I look at it every single day and I say every single symbol. And, the idea is subconsciously I'm going to take action to get there.
Take action. Oh my gosh, that's the key. Take action. Yep. I love it. Adam Ortman, Anytime Fitness Piqua, the one, the only. I love it, man. Thank you so much for being on.
Thanks, Jose.
I hope that we get some solid feedback from this dude.
I hope so.
Awesome. All right. Thank you, guys. Peace out.